Good evening everyone. Today this video is about how we're doing data processing using SAS Enterprise Miner. Before I start, I would like to brief you about my project, which is to study the effect of haze on the tourism market and to see how people react to this haze phenomena. To be more specific, the objective of this analysis is to determine the relationship between the pollutant standard index reading and the tourism stock market price, and is to see how the haze impact the stock market, and also to identify the effect of haze on the tourist arrival. And the last is to understand the public sentiment towards haze from Twitter. Singapore is chosen because it provides more complete data set than other Southeast Asian countries. There are 4 data sets I collected and crawled from online. The first one is the PSI data, which reflect the air quality data. The PSI data was collected on hourly basis from year 2009 until year 2019. It's something like this. It was collected on hourly basis and by major region in Singapore. However, from 2009 until 2012, the data is only presented in a daily basis. But after 2012, all the data was collected on hourly basis. The second data set is the stock price data, which I collected from Singapore Finance Yahoo website. The top 5 tourism stock market share were identified, which is this top 5 market share. And their data was collected from 2009 until 2019 on daily basis. The third data set is the international tourist arrival data, which I got it from the Singapore tourism page. It was breakdown by country and also collected from year 1978 January until 2019 August. The last data set was raw Twitter data, from which I call it from tweets. The period I call is from 30th September until 9 October, and all the tweets that contain haze or jelebu were crawled from the Twitter. Before we import this data to the SAS Enterprise Miner, we do some data cleaning and also data transformation. The PSI data that we collected is by region, so we need to calculate the average of the PSI data. So I calculate the average of the PSI data of all the regions on daily basis, and I also compile the PSI data and also the stock price data. The weighted average of stock price data is calculated and the weightage of this every stock is based on the market capitalism of this stock in the market share, which you can see that Genting Singapore have the highest market capitalism, so it will have highest it will have higher weightage. And this data is on daily basis, so we need to convert this data to monthly basis so that it can compile together with the tourism data. And another thing is there are some missing data here, missing stock price data. So the rows with the missing data will be deleted and will be transformed like this to data set that without missing data. So we convert this daily basis data to monthly data and compile it together with tourist international arrival data. And we can see that this PSI data, stock price data, and also tourist arrival data, their values are different so much, so we need to normalize this data. So I normalize this data using Z-score method, which is the data point you minus the average of this sample means, and also divide by the deviation standard deviation of this data set. And I got the normalized PSI average and the normalized weighted average stock price, and also the normalized international visitor arrival data. So after we have all these data set ready, we can upload it to the SAS Enterprise Miner, which is here. I divide the data file into 3 sets of data, and we can import the data to SAS Enterprise Miner. You can see that import file here, and then you can start import file from your local drive. So the 3 sets of data is the PSI and the stock price data. the PSI and the tourist arrival data and the trip data. So after you import, you click active variables you can start to do your data visualization. So the first data is the PSI data and also the stock price data. We may assign the row to the variable here. The date is the time ID I put, and the PSI is the input, and the weighted stop price is our target. So to plot the data, we highlight this and then we click explore. And then I choose the random sample method and also the maximum size. And then we may click plot. And I would like to study the relationship between the PSI data and also stock price, so I click the line graph data. And then I put the date as my x-axis, and we click this allow multiple row assignment, and I click this PSY as my y-axis and also the stock price data as my y-axis. Click next. And then we type PSI vs stock price. Here is a graph. We can see that this blue color is the PSI data and the red color is the stock price data. We can see that it seems like whenever the PSI data is very high, the stock price data will drop. You can see the spike here, and then the stock price data is dropping. When there is a spike here, the stock price data also dropping. Same goes to here. And when the PSI data is very low, the stock price data is very high. And the next data set I would like to explore is the PSI and the tourism arrival data, which we click edit variable. And in this data set, there are PSI data and also the tourism arrival data. And I assign row that this one has time ID, this one has input, then the tourist arrival data has target data. Then we highlight this data and then we click explore. And then same sample method, we choose random. The size, we choose maximum size, and then we click plot. I would like to see the relationship, so I also click the line graph. That I put has a horizontal axis. The PSI and also the arrival data I put as y-axis. We need to click allow multiple row assign. Title I put PSI vs tourist arrival. We can see that the data trend is on an upward trend, is on increasing trend, and the blue color is the PSI data, the red color is the tourist arrival data. But whenever there is a spike here, you can see there's the tourist data will be dropping. Same goes to here and here, and then here and here, here and here. So that from these two graphs, we can see that the PSI data and also the stock price data and also tourism data the PSI data is inversely proportional to this stock price data and also the tourist arrival data. And the trip data, we will use a different graph. In this trip data, we have date and time, location, message, positivity, and also the sentiment polarity. For date and time, I will put set time ID. And the other I will put set input, and the positivity I will put set target, and the sentiment polarity I will also put as target. And then we would like to plot the graph of this tree. You can see that in terms of positivity, which means that the sentiment of the tweet message, we can see that neutral has the highest frequency, and then followed by positive, and then the last is negative. And then for the weight, we change this to sample method to random, and then the default to maximum. For the sentiment polarity, we can see that the polarity score between 0 and 0.2 is the highest, which means that most of the tweets contain neutral sentiment, and then it was skewed to the right, which means they're having a positive comment than the negative comments. And there is a missing bins here. That means that this tweets contain some missing data. And then last, I would like to plot some pie chart. Then this positivity will be my category. We can see that from this pie chart, neutral is about 50%. We can add some value here. Give the percentage to the pie chart, and then we make the text size larger. So we can see that from this pie chart, neutral text message have about 48%, and for positive there are 41.5% positive comments, but for negative there is only around 9.72%, which surprisingly that people reaction towards haze is so positive and neutral. But I think because this data was collected at the end of September and also beginning of October, which that the haze is almost gone, and some of the region are clear of haze, so that's why people are positive about the haze phenomenon, and also mostly are more to neutral. Other than data visualization, we can do some regression model on our data using SAS Enterprise Miner. How we do is we come to model, there are different model here. So I'm doing a regression of my model. So you found a regression model here, and then we put in the diagram here. Then I would like to see the relationship between my PSI data and so stop price, and also relationship between tourist PSI data and also tourist arrival data. So I click run, and I will get a result something like this. You can see the output here. It will show you the analysis of variance, and how is the model fixed state, and how is the likelihood estimate. I can see that here having a p-value of less than even at significant level of 1%, which show that my stop price is having a relationship with the PSI data. And the second one is I like to see how is the relationship between the PSI and also tourist arrival data. So I click run the regression model, and I will get something like this. And then here is the output. So we can see that there is having a PSI p-value that less than 1% at significant level, which show that the tourist arrival data is having a relationship and is correlated to this PSI data. And that's all about data processing using SAS Enterprise. Thank you.